The Akashic Records show the exact moment the first atom decided to be, and it was apparently a bit shy about the whole existing thing. Ever wondered if your cat judges your life choices? The records contain a verbatim transcript, and yes, Mittens thinks you should eat more greens, especially that kale you keep ignoring. And that lost city of Atlantis. Not only did it exist, but the records also show its inhabitants had a very serious, very public debate about the appropriate color for their crystal-powered sky vehicles just weeks before their rather damp demise. Number 12. The real recipe for Greek fire and other lost technologies. Imagine being able to scroll through history's most guarded secrets, like flipping through a cosmic cookbook. If we could tap into the Akashic Records, the legendary library of all knowledge, we'd finally uncover those inventions that have baffled historians for centuries. Take Greek fire, for instance, that terrifying naval weapon of the Byzantine Empire. The records wouldn't just give you a vague ingredient list. Oh no, they'd show the exact step-by-step process. You'd see the alchemists in their smoky labs meticulously measuring refined petroleum, pine resin, sulfur, and a specific type of quicklime, only found on a certain Aegean island. The records would detail the precise temperatures needed for mixing, the curing time, and even the design of the siphons used to project the unquenchable flames, complete with frustrated scribbles from an engineer whose initial design kept backfiring. You'd witness live-action replays of naval battles, seeing how the substance clung to enemy ships and water only made it burn fiercer. The shouts of the Byzantine sailors, the terror in their enemies' eyes, all preserved perfectly. Then there's the Antikythera mechanism, that ancient Greek analog computer. The Akashic Records would lay out its complete blueprints, revealing every single gear and its purpose. You'd learn it didn't just predict eclipses and planetary movements, but also tracked the dates of the Olympic Games and perhaps even forecasted auspicious days for planting crops or going to war. Based on incredibly complex astrological calculations, the records would show the artisan who crafted it, his name, his workshop, and the sheer genius involved in its delicate assembly. You'd see him patiently filing each tooth on the bronze gears, consulting star charts that were themselves based on knowledge passed down from even older forgotten civilization. And what about Roman concrete, the stuff that's allowed structures like the Pantheon to stand for nearly 2 millennia, even outlasting modern concrete? The Akashic Records would spill the beans on its exact formulation. You discovered the specific volcanic ash, pozzolana. They used the type of lime and the crucial seawater curing process that actually made it stronger over time by forming tobermorite crystals. The records would show Roman engineers supervising the construction of harbors, deliberately using this formula, knowing their creations would endure for ages, a testament to their understanding of materials, science that in some ways surpassed our own until very recently. You'd even see the records of their experiments, the failed batches, and the accidental discovery that led to this super durable material. The knowledge of how to make things that truly last would be ours again. Number 11. What animals are really thinking and saying? Ever looked into your dog's eyes and sworn they understood every word you said? Or watched a flock of birds move in perfect unison and wondered what invisible signals they were sharing? Accessing the Akashic Records would be like getting a universal translator for the entire animal kingdom. Forget vague interpretations of body language. We're talking full, nuanced communication. The records would contain the complete lexicon of dolphin clicks and whistles, revealing that their conversations aren't just about finding fish or avoiding sharks. You'd find evidence of complex social structures, philosophical discussions about the nature of the ocean, detailed oral histories passed down through generations, and even poetry composed in intricate sound pattern. Imagine listening to a dolphin pod debate the merits of a new migratory route. their arguments as sophisticated as any human discussion. And what about our furry friends closer to home? The records would offer a direct line into your cat's mind. You'd finally know why they stare blankly at the wall. They're observing subtle energy shifts you can't perceive. What their slow blinks really mean, a sign of deep trust and affection, often accompanied by a mental image of you as a large, clumsy but generally benevolent kitten provider. And their candid opinions on your singing voice. It's probably not as good as you think, but they appreciate the as good as you think, but they appreciate the as good as you think. The records would show the world from their perspective a landscape of fascinating smells, intriguing shadows, and the constant serious business of napping in sunbeams. Think smaller, even. The Akashic Records would reveal the inner life of an ant. You might see that an ant defending its colony isn't just acting on blind instinct. The records would show a surprising depth of emotion, a fierce loyalty, a sense of duty, even a form of grief when a fellow worker is lost. You'd understand their complex chemical language, the pheromone trails that aren't just directions but entire narratives, warning of danger, announcing new food sources, or even mourning their queen. The interconnectedness of an ant colony would be laid bare, a superorganism with a collective consciousness that the records could map out in stunning detail. Chirps of crickets at night. The records would translate them into elaborate mating songs, territorial disputes, and even shared weather forecasts, painting a picture of a vibrant, communicative world hidden just beneath our notice. Number 10. The unseen architects. Who or what actually built the ancient wonders? The Great Pyramid of Giza, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, these ancient marvels stand as silent testaments to ingenuity that often seems beyond the capabilities of their time. If we peeked into the Akashic Records, the how and why of these structures would be crystal clear, no speculation needed. For the Great Pyramid, the records would show far more than just slaves hauling massive stones. You'd see detailed schematics, revealing an understanding of mathematics and astronomy that was astonishingly advanced. The records might show Egyptian priests and architects highly trained in sacred geometry and acoustics, using resonant frequencies to levitate and precisely place the multi-ton blocks. You'd witness the entire construction process day by day, from the quarrying of the stone to the placement of the capstone, understanding the logistical brilliance and the profound spiritual purpose that drove its creation, perhaps as an energy conductor or a stellar alignment device. Then there's Stonehenge. The Akashic Records would play back its construction like a time-lapse movie, spanning centuries. You'd see different tribes and communities contributing over generations, each adding their layer of meaning and purpose. The records would reveal the exact astronomical alignments they were aiming for, not just for solstices, but perhaps for tracking more obscure celestial cycles related to their deities or agricultural practices. You'd learn the identities of the individuals who designed it, their spiritual beliefs, and the specific rituals performed as each sarsen stone and bluestone was painstakingly moved and erected. The mystery of how the bluestones were transported from Wales would be solved, showing the exact routes and methods, whether by land, water, or a combination driven by a deep cultural imperative. What about the enigmatic Moai statues of Easter Island? Rapa Nui? The Akashic Records would give us the full story. You'd see the faces and hear the voices of the carvers, understand their clan structures, and learn the true meaning behind those stoic visages. The records would detail how they quarried the massive stone figures, the techniques they used to walk them across the island, and the reasons for their specific placement, perhaps as guardians or representations of deified ancestor. You'd also witness the ecological changes on the island and how they impacted the statue-building culture, a clear, unbiased account of societal choices and their consequences preserved for all time. And Machu Picchu. The records would show its daily life, not just as a royal estate or a religious sanctuary, but as a vibrant center of astronomical observation, agricultural experimentation, and spiritual learning. It's every stone placed with intention and a deep connection to the surrounding sacred landscape. Number 9. Your own personal highlight reel. Every past life you've ever lived. Forget vague feelings of déjà vu or unexplained phobias. Accessing the Akashic Records would mean getting the full, unabridged director's cut of every single life your soul has ever experienced. It wouldn't be like watching a blurry movie. It would be a vivid first-person immersion. Imagine suddenly understanding why you've always been drawn to a certain historical period or a particular foreign language. The records would show you. There you were, living it. Perhaps you were a skilled artisan in Renaissance Florence, the scent of oil paints and wood shavings still familiar. Or maybe you were a nomadic herder on the vast steppes of Central Asia, the wind and stars your constant companions. The records would show you the joys, the sorrows, the mundane moments, and the pivotal choices of each existence. This wouldn't just be for entertainment. The Akashic Records would lay out the karmic threads connecting your past actions to your present circumstances, like an incredibly detailed cosmic flowchart. You'd see how a lesson unlearned in one lifetime presents itself again in a different guise, in a subsequent one. That recurring challenge you face. The records might reveal its origin in a vow made, a promise broken, or a kindness offered centuries ago, its ripples still influencing your current path. It would provide an unparalleled understanding of your personal patterns, your innate strengths, and your deepest fears, showing their roots in experiences your conscious mind has long forgotten. More than just experiences, the records would catalog the skills and talents you mastered in previous incarnations. Ever picked up a musical instrument and found it strangely easy, or felt an inexplicable knack for a certain craft? The Akashic Records would confirm it. You've done this before. They might even show you the specific techniques you perfected, offering a clear pathway to reawaken those dormant abilities. Imagine rediscovering a forgotten fluency in an ancient language or an intuitive understanding of herbal medicine, all stored within your soul's vast repository. And perhaps most profoundly, the records would reveal the souls you've journeyed with across lifetimes. You'd recognize familiar eyes in different faces, understanding the deep, enduring connections you share with certain people in your current life, seeing them as fellow travelers who have played various roles, friend, foe, lover, family, in the grand tapestry of your soul's evolution. Number 8. The universe unlisted ingredients. Dark matter and dark energy unveil. Scientists tell us that everything we can see, stars, planets, galaxies, you and me, makes up only about 5% of the universe. The rest is a mysterious combination of dark matter, about 27%, and dark energy, about 68%. If we could consult the Akashic Records, this cosmic enigma would finally be solved. Imagine the records opening to the section titled Universe, Extended Edition Contents. There, the precise nature of dark matter particles would be detailed. Perhaps they are not just one type of particle, but a whole family of them, remnants from a previous cosmic cycle, or particles that interact with our dimension only through gravity, their properties and behaviors fully cataloged. The records would show visualizations of dark matter halos around galaxies, the invisible scaffolding upon which visible structures are built, making its elusive presence tangible. Then there's dark energy, the even more baffling force that's causing the expansion of the universe to accelerate. The Akashic Records would reveal its source and mechanism. Is it a property of space-time itself? A kind of cosmic constant? Or is it an interaction with higher, unseen dimensions leaking energy into our own? The records would provide the equations, the diagrams, the whole shebang. You'd see how dark energy operates on cosmic scales, gently pushing galaxies further and further apart, its influence growing stronger as the universe ages. The records might contain direct observational data from points in the universe, or even other universes where these phenomena are more pronounced or behave differently, providing a comparative understanding. The implications would be staggering. With a full understanding of dark matter, we could refine our models of galaxy formation and evolution with pinpoint accuracy. The records would contain complete maps of dark matter distribution throughout the cosmos, not just inferred, but directly observed in the Akashic field. This would allow us to understand the true mass and dynamics of galactic clusters and superclusters. And by knowing the true nature of dark energy, we could finally determine the ultimate fate of our universe. Will it expand forever until it's a cold, dark, empty void? The big freeze. Will the expansion reverse, leading to a big crunch? Or is there another, more exotic possibility? The Akashic Records would lay out the timeline, showing the universe's grand cosmic narrative from its very beginning to its ultimate end, all based on the now understood physics of its hidden components. Number 7. Cosmic Pen Pals. The full story of extraterrestrial contact, past and present. Are we alone in the universe? It's one of humanity's oldest and most profound questions. Access to the Akashic Records would provide a definitive and likely overwhelming no. The records wouldn't just confirm alien life, they'd offer a comprehensive galactic directory. Imagine a cosmic who's who detailing sentient species that have visited Earth or are aware of our existence. You'd see their home worlds, their physiology, their levels of technological and spiritual development, and their intentions, benevolent, neutral, or otherwise. The records would show their starships, their methods of FTL travel, and the incredible diversity of life forms that populate the cosmos. The records would also clear up all those ancient astronaut theories. You'd see actual footage of interactions between early human civilizations and extraterrestrial visitors. Were gods in chariots actually beings in spacecraft? The records would show it. You'd learn how these encounters influenced ancient myths, religions, and even our genetic development. Imagine seeing the construction of ancient sites like Pumapunku or Teotihuacan with clear evidence of advanced technology or guidance from off-world beings, not as speculation, but as historical fact. The records would show the specific knowledge shared, the treaties made, and the reasons for their departure or continued subtle presence. And what about modern UFO sightings? From Roswell to Tic Tac encounters. The Akashic Records would be the ultimate debunker and confirmer. You'd get the full, unredacted story behind each significant event. You'd see clear, unambiguous footage of unidentified aerial phenomena, hear the communications between pilots and these craft, and even access the internal logs of the alien vessels themselves. The records would reveal which sightings were misidentified natural phenomena or secret human tech and which were genuinely extraterrestrial. Furthermore, the records might expose any ongoing, clandestine communications or agreements between world governments and various extraterrestrial federations or species. You'd see the secret meetings, the technology exchanges, the shared research into cosmic mysteries, and the complex politics of interstellar relations, all laid bare for humanity to finally understand its true place in the galactic community. Number 6. The Oops. Moments of history. What really happened at pivotal turning points? History is often written by the victors or simply muddled by time, lost documents and biased accounts. The Akashic Records would act as the ultimate, impartial historical archive, revealing the unvarnished truth behind those moments that shaped our world, including the blunders and miscalculations. Take the sinking of the Titanic. Beyond the iceberg, the records would show the conversations on the bridge, the decisions made or not made in the crucial minutes leading up to the collision. Were there ignored warnings? Was there pressure to maintain speed? The records would play it all back, including the atmosphere in the wireless room as distress calls were sent and received, and the precise chain of events that led to such a catastrophic loss of life, including any design flaws or cut corners in its construction. The assassination of John F. Kennedy is another event shrouded in mystery and conspiracy theories. The Akashic Records would provide a definitive account. You'd see the events of November 22, 1963 from multiple perspectives, including Kennedy's, Lee, Harvey, Oswald's, and any other individuals involved. The records would show the exact trajectory of the bullets, the number of shooters, and the motivations and connections of everyone who played a part, finally laying all speculation to rest. You would witness the planning stages, the execution, and the subsequent cover-up, if any all with irrefutable clarity. What about the lost colony of Roanoke? The Akashic Records would solve this centuries-old American mystery. You'd see the daily lives of the colonists, their struggles, their interactions with local Native American tribes. The records would reveal whether they assimilated into a nearby tribe, attempted to sail back to England and were lost at sea, or met a more tragic end. The word Croatoan, carved into the post, would finally have its full context explained. And on a lighter yet still debated note, the records would reveal the real reason Napoleon Bonaparte so often kept his hand tucked into his waistcoat. Was it a power pose? A fashion statement? Or, as some historians suggest, was he discreetly alleviating discomfort from a chronic ailment like a stomach ulcer or a skin condition? The records would show his private moments, his doctor's visits, and the simple human reason behind the iconic pose, stripping away layers of myth. Number 5. Beyond the veil. What happens when we die, step by step? The ultimate unknown. What happens after we take our last breath? Religions and philosophies have offered countless answers, but the Akashic Records would provide a direct observational account of the entire process. Imagine witnessing with serene clarity the exact sequence as consciousness disengages from the physical body. The records would show the life review that many near-death experiencers report not as a fleeting glimpse, but as a comprehensive panoramic playback of one's entire life. Every thought, word, and deed experienced from the perspective of oneself and those affected. You'd see the lessons learned, the love shared, and the opportunities missed, all evaluated with compassion and understanding, not judgment. What comes next? The Akashic Records would illuminate the nature of the afterlife environments. Perhaps they are not a single destination, but myriad realms of existence, shaped by collective consciousness, vibrational frequency, and individual spiritual development. You'd see these worlds vibrant with light and energy, or perhaps more subdued and reflective places for rest, learning, or continued evolution. The records would show souls interacting with these environments, free from physical limitations, exploring landscapes born of thought and emotion. You'd understand how these realms operate, their physics, and how souls navigate them, and the longed-for reunions. The records would confirm them. You'd witness joyful encounters with deceased loved ones, soulmates, and spirit guides who come to greet and assist the newly transitioned soul. The records would contain the full transcripts of these ethereal conversations, filled with love, guidance, and reassurance. You'd see how these guides help souls understand their just completed life and prepare for what's next. This would include the process of choosing the next incarnation, if that is the path a soul takes. The records would show councils of wise beings, or perhaps a solitary reflective process where souls, with the help of their guides, review their karmic needs, and select the future life experiences, challenges, and relationships that will best facilitate their continued growth and learning. A conscious co-creation of their ongoing journey. Number 4. The original unsolved cases, Jack the Ripper, D.B. Cooper, and more, finally solved. True crime enthusiasts, get ready. The Akashic Records would be the ultimate cold case file, cracking open mysteries that have stumped detectives for decades, even centuries. Take Jack the Ripper, the infamous serial killer who terrorized Whitechapel in 1888. The records wouldn't just offer another suspect. They would show his face, reveal his true name, his profession, his twisted motives, and exactly how he chose his victims and evaded capture. You'd walk the foggy, gaslit streets of Victorian London alongside him, seeing through his eyes, understanding his methods, and witnessing the terror he spread, all preserved in chilling detail. The records would also show the frantic police investigation from the inside, their near misses, and the societal conditions that allowed such a figure to thrive. Then there's the daring mystery of D.B. Cooper, the man who hijacked a Boeing 727 in 1971, extorted $200,000, equivalent to over $1,400,000 today, and parachuted into the night, never to be definitively found. The Akashic Records would play the entire event like a movie. You'd know his real identity, his background, and his meticulous planning. You'd see him on the plane, calm and collected, and then experience the jump with him into the stormy Pacific Northwest wilderness. Did he survive the jump? Where did the money end up? The records would show his fate, whether he perished in the wilderness, was injured and later died, or incredibly made a clean getaway and lived out his life under a new identity. The exact location of any remaining ransom money would be pinpointed. What about the disappearance of Union leader Jimmy Hoffa in 1975? The Akashic Records would provide a clear, step-by-step account of his final day. You'd see who he met, what was said, the betrayal, and his ultimate fate. The long-debated question of where his remains were disposed of would be answered unequivocally, bringing closure to a case that has fueled speculation for nearly half a century. And Amelia Earhart, the pioneering aviator who vanished over the Pacific in 1937. The records would trace her final flight, showing exactly what went wrong. Did she crash and sink in the ocean? Or did she, as some theories suggest, make an emergency landing on a remote, uninhabited island like Nikomaroro and survive for a time? The records would show her final moments, her struggles, and her ultimate destiny, solving one of aviation's most enduring enigmas. Number 3. The true stories of gods and prophets, separating myth from verifiable history. Throughout history, figures of immense spiritual significance have walked the earth, their teachings shaping civilizations and inspiring billions. But over time, stories can become embellished, messages altered. The Akashic Records would act as a divine fact-checker, providing unfiltered biographical accounts of prophets, avatars, and spiritual leaders like Jesus of Nazareth, Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, Krishna, and Muhammad. Imagine reading the direct, unadulterated sermons of Jesus, hearing his Aramaic words in their original context, free from later theological interpretations or mistranslations. You'd see his daily life, his interactions with his disciples, the actual miracles he performed, and the scientific or spiritual principles behind them, and the true political and social climate he navigated. The records would also illuminate the original events that inspired well-known religious stories. Take Noah's Ark and the Great Flood. The Akashic Records might reveal this wasn't a global event, but perhaps a catastrophic regional flood in Mesopotamia, detailing the specific family or community that built a large vessel to survive, their story later magnified into a worldwide deluge. Similarly, the Exodus story might be shown as a smaller tribal migration, its details and scale transformed over centuries of oral tradition. The records would provide the historical, geographical, and meteorological context for these foundational narratives, allowing us to understand their core truths. Where did divine inspiration truly come from? When prophets reported hearing the voice of God or receiving visions, the Akashic Records would show the source. Was it a direct connection to a universal consciousness, communication with highly evolved non-physical beings, or benevolent extraterrestrials? Or a profound intuitive insight arising from deep meditation and spiritual discipline? The records would make this clear, demystifying the process without diminishing its sacredness. You'd also be able to trace the evolution of religious doctrines, seeing precisely how original teachings were interpreted, sometimes misinterpreted, adapted, or deliberately altered by councils, scribes, and rulers over centuries to suit political agendas. This would provide a pathway to understanding the common mystical heart within all spiritual traditions. Number 2. The Genesis Blueprint: How life actually began on Earth and elsewhere. The origin of life is one of science's most profound and challenging questions. How did non-living matter spark into the first living organisms? The Akashic Records would hold the ultimate laboratory notes detailing Earth's primordial recipe. You wouldn't just get a theory, you'd witness the actual sequence of events on the young Earth some 4 billion years ago. The records would show the exact chemical soup in ancient oceans or volcanic vents, the precise atmospheric conditions, the energy sources like lightning or ultraviolet radiation, and the specific molecular interactions that led to the formation of the first self-replicating molecules, the building blocks of RNA and DNA. It would be like watching a time-lapse documentary of abiogenesis, from simple organic compounds to the first primitive cells. The records would also definitively answer the panspermia question. Did life, or its essential components, arrive on Earth from outer space? You'd see meteorites and comets bombarding the early Earth, and the records would analyze their composition, showing if they carried amino acids, nucleobases, or even hardy microbial life that seeded our planet. You might witness life independently arising on Earth, and also being supplemented by extraterrestrial organic materials, a multi-pronged genesis. The records would paint a complete picture of how our planet became a cradle for life. Furthermore, the Akashic Records would contain the complete, unabridged evolutionary tree of all species that have ever existed on Earth. No more missing links. Every transitional fossil, every evolutionary pathway, every dead-end branch would be meticulously documented. You'd see the incredible journey from single-celled organisms to the dazzling array of flora and fauna we know today, and the countless species now extinct. And this wouldn't be limited to Earth. The records would reveal the conditions necessary for life to arise on other planets and moons, both within our solar system and in distant galaxies. You'd see countless worlds teeming with diverse organisms, from simple microbes in subsurface oceans to complex, intelligent civilizations, showing that life is not a rare accident, but a common cosmic imperative, flourishing wherever conditions permit. The universe would transform from a largely empty space into a vast, interconnected cosmic garden. Number 1. The ultimate question answered: the origin and purpose of the universe itself. This is it. The biggest question of all. Why is there something rather than nothing? How did our universe begin? And what, if any, is its ultimate purpose? Accessing the Akashic Records on this topic would be like opening the universe's own diary. First, the records would reveal the state of existence or non-existence before the Big Bang, or whatever the true creation event was. Was there a previous universe that collapsed? Quantum foam bubbling with potential realities? Or an infinite, unmanifest void from which our cosmos burst forth? The records would show it, perhaps, in ways that stretch our current understanding of physics and consciousness to their limits. You'd see the initial conditions, the trigger, and the first femsates of our universe's birth unfolding with absolute clarity. The fundamental laws and constants of our universe, the speed of light, the strength of gravity, the charge of an electron, seem finely tuned for life to exist. Why do they have these specific values? The Akashic Records would explain this. Perhaps they are inherent properties of this particular cosmic iteration. Or maybe they were chosen or emerged from a deeper, underlying set of principles. The records might even show other universes with different constants, illustrating why ours is the way it is, perhaps as part of a multiverse where all possible configurations exist. You'd understand the very fabric of reality, the source code of the cosmos. Is there an overarching purpose or design behind cosmic evolution? Or is the universe simply a magnificent accident, its complexity emerging from simple rules playing out over vast time scales? The Akashic Records would provide the answer, or perhaps show that the question itself is framed by limited human perception. You might discover a teleological drive towards increasing complexity, consciousness, or self-awareness embedded within the universe. Or you might find that purpose is a concept we impose, and the universe simply is in all its indifferent grandeur. And finally, the records would reveal the ultimate fate of our universe. Will it end in a big freeze, big rip, big crunch, or something else entirely? And what lies beyond that end? Is there a cycle of renewal, transition to another state of being? The Akashic Records would contain the full cosmic story, from Alpha to Omega, giving us a perspective on existence that is truly, utterly mind-blowing.